Human immunodeficiency virus infection or acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, that is HIV or AIDS, is a disease of the human immune system caused by infection with human immunodeficiency virus, that is HIV. It interferes more and more with the immune system, making a person much more likely to get infections, including opportunistic infections and tumors that do not usually affect people who have working immune systems. Since its discovery, AIDS has caused millions of deaths. The disease has had a great impact on society, both as an illness and as a source of discrimination. The daring hope of a 13-year-old girl living with HIV AIDS gives a whole new meaning to life with HIV AIDS. Today on the show, we are going to talk about HIV AIDS. I know when you hear that, you're all thinking that topic has been overly discussed. And I do agree. I just have one simple question. Why do we still have the same consequences? Why is there a generation of children of tender years infected with HIV AIDS? Why is there a great rise in HIV infections in the married sector? Why, if everybody seems to know what to do? Today on the show, get to hear the stories of both young and old struggling with HIV AIDS. How do they survive? What does life mean to them? And also, get to find out how you and I can be a part of the struggle to have an HIV-free generation. Kisha Lydia, 13 years of age, but she too has a story she calls a story of her life because of HIV AIDS. My dear, how are you?
I'm fine.
How is life?
Life is good.
Are you scared?
No, I'm not.
You're not scared. Good. You're not at school. Is it holiday time?
Yes.
What do you do during the holidays?
During the holiday, I do domestic work. After domestic work, I get some services. I take them to door for selling. Some people abuse me, some buy.
Why do they abuse you?
They say that I'm still young, I'm a thief. Like the street children, so they think that I'm one of them, I'm a thief. But I just become strong and I sell them. After selling, I come back home.
13-year-old Kisha Lydia, living in the slum areas in the outskirts of Zambia, here in Kampala, lost her mother to HIV AIDS when she was only 2.5 years old. With time, her father's days grew fewer. At just 10 years, she had seen the ebb and flow of death in her small family. Who do you live with?
I live with my auntie.
Where are your parents?
My parents, they both died.
When did they die?
My mom died when I was 2.5 years old. And my dad died when I was in primary 6.
Her aunt has been her guardian ever since. Lydia was suffering from chronic diarrhea, skin rashes, high fever and vomiting, and severe coughs. She has lived on earth only 13 years, but she has come a long way. She is so little, and while listening to her, I wondered how she understood so fast how things have been in her life and set an amazing call to live life anyway. So, Lydia, who told you that you're HIV positive?
I was sick when I was young. When my mother died, I started becoming sick. So when I became sick, my father took me to a clinic. That clinic, there was a nurse, and that nurse told my father that you should take this child to a main hospital for medical checkup. She's maybe positive. So my father knew there was a maid nurse who knew my mother. So my father took me to Zambia hospital. We found the nurse. The nurse told my father, this girl may be HIV positive, but let us first go for medical checkup and we see.
Why did they think you were HIV positive?
Because the nurse is the one who helped my mother when he was giving birth. So that's the nurse where
So the nurse knew that your mother was HIV positive?
Maybe, but he never told me. Afterwards, he took us to Zambia home care. They took my blood test and my father's blood test, but they found out that my father was negative and me, I was positive. So afterwards, I started taking my drugs for.
So who told you all this? Because they took your tests when you're 2.5 years old. When did they take these tests?
They took the test when I was like 4 years. I was in primary 2.
Did you know anything about HIV AIDS?
I didn't know, but the counselors told me.
They told you?
Yeah.
And they also told you your father's status?
Yes, I was around when they told the both of us. They called us in the counseling room and they told both of us. They told my father, are you strong enough to take over this child's health? My father agreed, so I started taking my drugs.
Which drugs do you take?
By now I'm taking Aluvia and Combiva. But when I was in primary 2, I used to take some drugs. They were like syrups, but I didn't know the name. My father was the one who knew the name. So after some times, I lived with my father. My father got a second wife. So when he got a second wife, he didn't want to tell her wife that I'm HIV positive. So he told me that I should leave the drugs. And I stopped taking the drugs for like 2 years. But I was sick, sometimes sick.
How did you know that your father did not want to tell your stepmother that you're HIV positive?
I knew because he was the one who told us that you should hide these drugs. You shouldn't tell your mom. You should hide them, leave them alone, stop taking them. So, but I had a maid at home who loved me so much and who cared about me. He was the one he took me to the hospital. Each date they give me, each appointment they give me. So he decided to take me to the hospital and he told the counselors. The counselors came at home. They told my dad, but my dad refused to agree. He told them that this child is mine, not your child, so you shouldn't tell me what to do. I know this child is life. So I left the drugs for 2 years.
When you left the drugs, didn't you get ill?
I started becoming ill again. Every time malaria, skin diseases, some diseases, diarrhea. After some time, again, the wife went away. He left my father. When he left my father, first of all, he had a child, but the child died. Now that child would have been my little sister, but he died also.
What did she die of?
HIV.
But you said your father was negative.
Yeah, my father was negative, but maybe the mother was positive because again we went to a certain clinic nearby. It was a family doctor, and again they took our blood tests. They found out that I was positive, my mother positive, and my stepmother positive, me positive, and my little sister is positive, but my father wasn't positive. So for me, I went to the nurses and I asked why is it that our father is negative and for us we are positive? Nobody could tell me the answer.
How old were you when you asked the nurses that?
I was 10 years old. So after some time, my stepmother went away from home. He left us in the house with my father. My father also started becoming sick because he used to smoke. But if he had to smoke when we were seeing her, he used to go to the latrine and he smokes from there, and afterwards he comes back and he sleeps. After some time, he had TB and they told us that he had HIV. He went to Mulago and they checked that he had HIV and he had TB. So when they checked out that he was HIV and TB, they gave him medicine, but he did not finish up the medicine very well. He just took the TB medicine and left the HIV medicine. He told us that no, for me I can't take the medicine. This medicine is too strong for me. It can't help me. It just makes me weak. I used to encourage her that you try. maybe you'll be like me. He refused.
When did you start to talk about the fact that you have HIV?
The fact that I had HIV.
Who was the first person you told who wasn't your family member, apart from the nurses?
No one, just the maid I had at home was the only one who knew. No one else knew.
What was your father? What did he do for a living?
My father, he was a driver.
Lydia sells spices which her guardian buys in bulk at wholesale. They are also taught how to make donuts at Nakwola, where she meets other children. Sessions like these have made a difference to how children living with HIV see themselves. So Lydia, when did you start to be an anti-HIV AIDS activist?
When I started to do that, I saw for the first time I gained the courage. I was on TV, so I saw some children really fighting for us, and I said, God, even me one time I need to fight for the future. I need also to fight for the future. I need it. So when I had anybody who would like me to do this, I could really run very fast because I know what I'm doing is right.
Lydia's school fees are catered for by Nsambia Children Home Care, and she goes to Tropical High School, where she's in Senior 1. Most of her friends, though, are at Nakwola, where they sing songs, laugh, dance, and play under the guidance of counselors, and also are taught many other things. These children, too, share her HIV-positive status. The support sessions are also an opportunity for parents and guardians to learn how to help their HIV-positive children. When is the first time you addressed people, and how many people were they?
The first time it was at Zambia Home Care. It was a workshop. They were some maybe they were English people. So they came, they took some photos, they asked us some stories. I gave one, they took it. That's was the first time when I took the courage.
Did your auntie, was she fine with you doing this?
Yeah, she's very fine.
You told her I want to tell people I'm positive and be an activist, and she said that's okay? So how did you meet the members of the organization called Nakwola?
The members, when I met them, it was just last year but one. And it was my auntie first. It wasn't me. My auntie was passing by, so he saw the post, so he went there, he asked, he found a lady called Diana. So he talked to her. Diana told her that we need like two girls. So when my aunt came back home, we used to stay down there with my grandmother. So my aunt told me that you are hardworking. I see that you are hardworking, and here at home you don't have work to do. I found a group up there. They need two girls to learn how to make daddies. But now for you haven't gone to school, so you should go and learn daddies. I told her, okay, yes, I'll go. The second day, he took me with the second girl. We went there, but the second girl never came back. For me, I kept on going.
And they were only dealing with HIV-positive ladies?
Yeah.
And how old were you by this time?
By that time, I was 12. When I went there, I learned to make snacks and daddies. I saw other children there, and I felt like I was at home because they are positive like me. They care about me. We eat food, we laugh, we quarrel, we do what. We enjoy life like other people. So I felt happy. I felt like I am having a second family. That's how I found out Nakwola.
Lydia, do you sometimes wish you were negative?
I wish, but somehow not.
Is life normal?
It's normal to me because even though I was negative, but now I know that I'm positive and I can fight stigma. Because when you are negative, you can't fight stigma. When you are negative, you can't know that you can't say you can't. When a boy comes and says, "You girl, I love you," just say yes. I've seen it to many children saying yes because they know that they are negative. They don't mind about what they are, and they don't mind about their status and a boy's status. So for me, I feel happy that I'm at least positive and I can fight for myself and for other people.
So, what is there anything that you want parents to learn from your story?
Yeah. The first thing I would like parents to learn from my story is that the parents who give us, who really have children who are on medicine, please and please leave the children to take their drugs very well, and you shouldn't allow them to leave their drugs. The parents, if you know that your child is negative, try to counsel the child in any possible way, even if it needs to cane her, because being positive and having a child who is positive, it is not easy. It brings many infections to us. The environment hates you. Everywhere you pass, everyone is like scared of you. When you go to school, a teacher can say that HIV, when a person is HIV, you become like a skeleton. When a person is HIV, for me, I used to hear that when I was in P6. I used even to cry because in class I was HIV positive. So please, children, and please, parents, you should care about our lives. And I say to the environment and to the community we live in, we people who are HIV positive, please don't abuse us. Don't laugh at us. We are also like you. We didn't want this to happen to us, but it just came by a consequence and by a mistake. We didn't know, because even our parents didn't know. It was just a mistake. And it was God's will that this happened. God is the only one who knew why it came and when it will go away and when will it be cured. That's the only thing I would ask you people to do for us, people who are HIV positive.
Oh, thank you. That was it from Lydia. Very, very powerful message coming from a 13-year-old makes it magical. Life Stories will be right back after the break.